Welcome to the Writing Biz. I'm Laura Williams. Today on the Writing Biz, I have two terrific guests, a husband and wife team, Wendy Carrick and Derek Hadinger. Wendy is a publisher and book shepherd. She uses her knowledge to guide authors through the publishing process. Derek is a first time author. His book, 10 Years of Strong Black Coffee and Strong Willed Patience, which is a memoir about his 10 years in nursing. Thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you for having us and for your time and for this ensuing discussion we're about to have of wonderful things here.
Amen.
Amen, right?
Exactly
Wendy,
what he said.
you walk us through what a book shepherd is and the process, and using Derek's book as an example, what did it take, basically the highlights from idea to finished product?
Yes. So book shepherd, I found out, is an actual thing that people do. I think I heard it from someone when I was explaining to them what I wanted to do with people, and they're like, "Oh, sounds like you're a book shepherd." I'm like, "Oh, that's a thing? Really? I didn't know that." And basically what I like to do is help people, coach people, however they need help through the publishing process and the bookmaking process. Some people need more help than others. When it came to Derek, I didn't need to hold his hand through anything really as far as the writing stuff went, and usually what I do is I work with people who have already written a book and they are looking to publish it. And that's where I normally come in and I help with the design process. I whatever part of the process they need. Usually they'll come to me with the manuscript that they've finished up, and I normally do children's book illustration. So I kind of end up being an illustrator / book shepherd, where I create the illustrations for their book and design the book and help them through the publishing process, the self-publishing process, or how some people like to call the indie publishing process. It's like I was told recently by someone, "Oh, no one uses the term self-publishing anymore." I'm like, well, I do. It's the same thing. It's just a different term. I know. I guess I like to use the term self-publishing because I would just want to get past the stigma of it all. People poo-poo the whole self-publishing thing. I'm like, hey, it's the same thing. It's just a different label if you put indie publishing on it. But yeah, with Derek's book, he just got through the writing process so darn fast. I couldn't believe how much he was able to type in. How many months did it take you to write the book?
Okay, that book, and then I did 26 kids books. Using alliteration to one up Dr. Seuss, basically not making up words and going highbrow with it was one of my intentions. But yeah, in that time period, all of those books, maybe a month and a half at most.
No,
Insane.
it really that much? Really? I was a month. I can't. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it was probably a month. I'm being generous saying month and a half. I would just went and it came out.
I thought maybe at least 3 months, but this is crazy. But yeah,
you must have a very organized thought process.
No. What I do have is a process of okay. So I would say closer to 2 months now that you mention it. The kids' books came out in a month and a half, and then with the other book, it was like I would say a solid 2 months, but still, close to 400, shy of 400 pages on the one book and all these others. It just all these thoughts have been sitting around for a while. There's a lot of things like with language. My dad, he called himself a purveyor of paraphrastics. He'd come out of the bathroom, dictionary in one hand, encyclopedia, all these. He spoke Vietnamese, Latin, just out there guy. But so I got a lot of these little mnemonic tricks and identifying patterns and things. And then over a long period of the nursing process and just thinking about things, all of that it was really in a way disorganized. It had to be like laid out, like everything laid out on a table, and you just jump for the things that stand out and say, hey, I'm just going to put that in there, and the rest I'll let people fill it in because I don't want to be too wordy, anything like that. Then when I got to the meat of it, everything focused itself and just came out.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
I just had all
Yeah.
the ingredients. I had a reason to do it. And then I guess when it comes down to bearing down on things, being a musician, an artist, when I went through nursing college, I read everything several times just to really understand it. So I guess I'm in one way highly organized and have a good memory. It's just an oddball way of doing it for what most people would consider. So when it comes to bearing down, I am able to get highly focused and get a
Yes.
lot of information in a short period of time.
Yeah. I feel like with his experience writing his memoir, it's over 300 pages, and that's edited down as well. I ended up being his editor basically.
Gosh, my husband's crazy.
But I felt like what the reason why it took such a short period of time, because anyone listening, yeah, that is extremely unusual and almost unheard of. But I think that's what happens when a book has been sitting inside you for years or decades,
Something needs to come out.
and it's ready to come out.
Right.
That's when something like that happens. Normally it takes a lot longer. But when you've got that situation where it's just bursting out of you, it's a good sign too that it's time. It's time for this book to come
it
out.
had to come out.
Yeah. And sometimes in my experience too, with that kind of thing, it's like the project or that book becomes this clog that nothing else is going to come out until you get that out of your system. I've experienced that before.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I
as far
understand.
yeah.
But also
Okay.
too, I think you was so passionate about the subject matter
Mhm.
that makes a huge difference. And it's sometimes that can be a difficult process for writers if they
Mhm.
feel that they need to write something, but they are honestly not that passionate about it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Amen to that. That is,
Mm.
thank you for saying that. That is the key to everything. I have a different modus operandi, but it's because things stew in me for a while, and it has to be in me for a while to realize, okay, this is sticking around. I can't get this out. It has something to do with me, and I have to do something with it right now. And if you're not passionate about it, don't get intellectual about it. Don't try to make it work. Just to be blunt about it, be really build up a passion for what you're doing. And although it may not be there all of the time, at least have something within you where when you're in the doldrums, you're still on your ship floating and you haven't jumped ship,
Mhm.
and that breeze will come by. It has to be something you truly believe in. Yeah.
Yeah, for example, I've got 3 different books that are in my heart to create, or in my mind at least. Maybe not all of them are in my heart. That's the problem.
Wow.
It's like
Good
I've got yeah,
point.
because there's a third book in a series that I really should be working on. I need to write because there are people who keep asking me when's the third book coming out, and it's just not happening for me in my heart. And there's another book that is maybe a little bit more on my heart, but it's still not coming. And then there's a nonfiction book that is pouring out of me right now. And I'm like, well, I'm deciding to go where the energy is and just work on this nonfiction book because at least that's working for me and it's flowing. And so I feel like since that's the one that's flowing, I need to focus on that one because it is flowing.
I
It is
agree.
gathering. Yeah.
I agree with that premise because I have been working on a 5-book series of fantasy
Mm.
fiction, and I wrote the first 3 books. Well, because of things that happened in the second and third book, I need to rewrite a good part of the first book. Oh, it's
Mm.
just
Ah,
not making me
interesting.
happy, and it's so hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
that's
so hard.
frustrating.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I haven't been writing because, well, I mean, not, I write all the time for other stuff, but I haven't been working on the book because I'm really that irritated with myself. So I have to get
Yeah.
over it and go back and really buckle down with it, because the second and third book I absolutely love. And I'm forcing myself not to start on the fourth or fifth until I figure out the first. So,
Interesting.
To note on
yeah.
that, pun intended, I'm looking at my musical instruments. There's been a lot of ideas that I work on, and the initial expression really sets the tone for something. And as you're going along and you build on it, all of a sudden, you'll get these richer storylines, these epiphanies, these little things that you can mix in. And then the beginning, it's like, and I know exactly what you're saying. And I had to go back and rework some stuff that it at first irritated me, but then I realized, wow, that idea propelled me far enough to where it's an honor to go back and have to rewrite it. And basically, I accept the challenge in reinventing myself. And I don't know, it's like when you get on a journey and you're getting it out of you, but it looks at you and says, ha ha, I'm teaching you now. It's your subconscious, your spirit almost rejecting what your reality put there as being the full story. And that's why we get annoyed and want to attack ourselves, because there's, I believe, a spiritual force at work, and there's something that doesn't want you to get it out and to go back and rework it, because then what that's doing is you're going back and refining yourself and looking at yourself in new ways. And that bad forces don't like that. It's just how it's up. So
Let me tell you, Derek, let me tell you something.
yeah,
What you just said helped me so much.
well, thank you.
And I'm going to give this a lot of thought, because that's a really important mind shift. And I think I needed to hear that. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Because
And thank you for saying that, for making me remember. Challenge accepted. It's just something that it's an honor to be irritated, because you're delving into the right thing. And it's a way of, we don't want to face ourselves, but when you do, you'll be so happy that you did it. I guarantee it.
you didn't expect to come on here and be a book shepherd, did you?
No. Well, that's funny you say that. When I started writing, my wife looked at me. She came in, I'm drinking coffee, and I'm just like, what a beautiful, I'm enraptured by your beauty. She's like, yeah, you should maybe think of writing these ideas down. And bam, okay, I'm writing a book. And I started, and it went.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That is so cool.
So it took somebody else to put it in a perspective and make me realize, oh,
Oh,
I am an author. Wow.
yeah, that happens a lot. Sometimes I have other people that believe in me so much more than at times I believe in myself. So it helps when they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
So for your other clients, do you do editing, or is that something you bring somebody in for?
Normally I would refer them to someone or ask them if they know an editor that they would like to use, because normally editing, well, I've hired an editor to edit my books before, when it comes to my my young adult novels that I've done. Anything novelesque that I write, I prefer to hire an editor for, because I've learned in the past I'm not very good at editing my own work, but I'm much better at editing someone else's work. I learned that with Derek's book. I was much better at editing his book than I've ever been at editing my own, because I think that's the way it is with your own work anyway. You tend to maybe skip over things because you just don't. I don't fine tooth, it enough. I just for some reason my eye just doesn't see it all. But yeah, with Derek's, yeah. But yeah, for other people's normally, and I guess because of that also, until Derek's book, I never thought of myself as the best editor before. But I learned through his book experience, through editing his book, because mostly it was financial based. I didn't want us to have to hire an editor, and I wanted to see if it was possible for me to do it myself rather than hire someone. Also, I wanted to keep his project within, within us, because I wanted to make sure that his voice was not lost in the book. And I know his voice so well.
That's it.
That was important to me because I understood him. I understood what he was trying to say through so many communications that we had about the book and about his stories. I knew things so I was able to even go in with sometimes when he would get a little verbose or a little,
I'm like the Apostle
yeah.
Paul. You read Romans and you're like, dude, just boil it down a minute.
Yeah.
But, I like to delve a little bit.
I knew what I could. And I would remember there was one part in this book where I was like, it wasn't completely clear the way it was written, but I knew what he was trying to say. So I reworded it for him and I gave it to him and I said, let me know if this is right. I remember you saying these words before verbally to me. And so that really helped me just because I knew the author so well. I was able to kind of put words into his mouth, so to speak. I don't know if I could do that so well with someone else's book because I know him very well and his voice very well. But I feel I think I'd feel nervous editing someone else's book because I would worry that I would be changing their voice or making their work my own if since if I'm not familiar 100% with their voice. But yeah,
That's something I would love to do, actually, is editing.
I bet you'd be good at it.
The volumes
You'd be
of
good at it.
research, writing, all that nursing college writing papers and stuff. I enjoy that stuff.
I think my daughter would be good at it too, because she reads so fluently. But anyway, yeah, that's so editing isn't necessarily something that I would provide because I don't feel it's my strongest skill.
We can't do everything anyway.
Yeah. Focus on your strengths and find someone who you can relate with. They don't have to be your best friend. That's even better sometimes because the scorn of a friend's better than the kiss of an enemy. You don't want someone who's going to be a sycophant or something, But
yeah, another part that I would probably advise that I advise an author when I work with them to get extra help with, because I know it's also not 100% my strength, is marketing. I didn't go to school for marketing. I know a lot of things that that authors could do to promote themselves. I can give them a lot of advice, but to actually be their marketing person, that's definitely not something that I have time to do. So that's so basically my part of the whole experience would be just getting their book out in the world. And if need be, I can give them advice on different things that they can do, but I won't be able to necessarily help them do those things.
Right.
Unlike with Derek, once again, since he's my husband, I ended up being his publicist.
Yeah, I'm a freak of nature. Don't use me as any reference point for anything besides this is the odd way to do it.
As with him, I created
a little different.
It's funny. I did things for him that I haven't done for myself. I created well, I did that for myself as well. But as far as the marketing materials, for crying out loud, the sell sheet, what was it called? When you put a sheet together
Spreadsheet.
The
media page. Yeah, basically a promotional page to send to newspapers and all kinds of things. I was able to get him an interview with the local paper.
Yeah, you're sneaky. You've got me into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. I
was like, okay, Derek, you're doing this today. Do you mind? Yeah.
As you wish, babe.
You're going to be a guest on this podcast. Do you mind?
I was going to ask Derek what his struggles were getting the book together, but what would you consider a struggle? Because it sounds like you had such a good plan and you had help right next to you.
The plan was really through prayer. I prayed about it. And I said, Lord, all these experiences, what really, because I was called to be a nurse, and I was like, just all I wanted to do was remember the most important, intense situations that affected me in ways that, like, every time I read the word, there's always a lesson. There's always several things going on. And so every experience I wanted to explore the initial, here's what's happening. Here's the conflict going on. Here's the usually avant-garde resolution. And it's all about relationships and having to work through something. The toughest part for me, because everything, it was my personal experience. The toughest part was keeping my feelings at bay and not jumping off the track while all this stuff was coming out of me so hard. I remembered things. All I wanted to do was remember as accurately as possible. And as I read these, I picked up the book the other day and started reading it, and I was just pouring tears. Like these doors opened up and it just flowed out. And the most difficult thing was dealing with my own emotions that I had kept locked up for so long that I can't tell somebody this, I'm going to floor them. I can't tell somebody this, they're going to be offended, and they don't know why, because you're working in this profession where you're at the pinnacle of tasting and eating people's fear, their despair, their anger, all of this stuff, and you're constantly immersed in it, and you have to. And it's like through prayer, God took that and held on to it. And then when I decided to write it, he opened the doors and said, all right, this is what I was holding on to for you. Now here's your testimony. And it came out. And the hardest part was for me to keep myself together while I was doing it and not get like way too wordy or too out there or let it eat me alive, you know? If that makes any
I
sense.
understand that. Yeah, I have a book that's sitting on a shelf that I'm stuck in the middle with, because it's the middle part is a funeral for a little girl, and I'm having a hard time getting past that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's been going on for years. So I don't even know if I'll ever do anything with it. But it's really not. I have to rewrite the whole thing. It's not nearly as good as it should be. But what kind of nursing did you do?
I started out working on an intermediate med surg floor at cardiac telemetry, a lot of vents, a lot of heart failure, kidney failure. It's kind of like a step down unit. The only thing I really didn't deal with was basically gerontology, childbirth, things like that. But it was people like, oh, I want to be a psych nurse. Walk into a room, you got yourself a psych patient, dude. I want to be a whatever nurse. Well, right down the hall, you're going to find two of those. I did that for about going on 3 years. And then my wife at the time gave birth to my daughter. She was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. So I switched over to a same health system, worked on a stroke floor, intermediate med surg, and that was very profound, where you would, my wife was going through chemotherapy and treatments were close to home, and I just developed a really good rapport with the staff there, these doctors. It was like family. They were like, oh, a nurse who wants to get nerdy with me, cool. And we really get down and just, I saw how profound strokes could affect people, and how you have all these global deficiencies, and just immediately it's like you're going along and a nuclear bomb hits inside of your brain, and all of a sudden you're completely discombobulated the rest of your life. There are all these things, and that was a wonderful experience, but it got me to, in a way, it primed me to accept the totality of what I was going to have to deal with Elizabeth passing away from her breast cancer. Then I had to take a break from when she passed, did some per diem work through a health pro nursing agency. My mom worked for them. Love those people like family. They would just send me to places. And then I worked through Ohio Health surgery oncology floor. In my last 6 months there, I was able to work as a hospice navigator. And it was like the Lord saying, hey, the experience you went through, now you're going to be able to help all these people out. And that was amazing. I would advocate for families, try to get people on hospice. go through hours of discussions, crying with them, talking about all these things in life. And all of what I had been through was able to lend to the experience. And then after that, I had to take a step back, do some per diem work. And I don't know, that's my story. And then God one day says, get out. And I took a break. And now I just got hired by another nursing agency. I verbally, as I was praying, I said, God, if I ever work as a nurse again, just give me the job for you where I want to do the right thing. I want it to be ethically pure. I don't want metrics. I don't want to serve the corporate Satan and all this stuff. And I'm driving by this one place, and it's a small healthcare agency. And I drive by, and in my brain, I hear, well, you didn't get their number yet, Derek? I'm like, oh. So I get their number, and then I talked to this lady. I walked in there, gave her the book that I had, as, hey, here's my resume. And we talked and ended up getting hired. Now I'm a independent contractor nurse. I get to work out in the community, and it's faith-based, and like people who can write, who can play music, I get to go in and assess them. And like you say, a book shepherd, I get to be a soul shepherd in a way, and whatever creative aspects people have. You know, I'm glad you said book shepherd, because I'm really going to start focusing on that when I help these people out, you know. And we're just trying to keep them out of the hospital, use their creative, what gifts that they have to keep them healthy. And all the stuff that we're talking about, really, that's the best medicine you can have. You have something that sticks in your craw, write it out. You have somebody that gets you mad and you get in an argument. What makes you angry? Well, write about specifically what makes you angry, so you can look at it and then say, well, maybe I'll write a story on how to deal with it, and use your imagination to be your own therapy. My book was my therapy.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that. I can see that. That's a really amazing journey. How lucky you are to be able to share your experiences and your skills with people, that capacity.
I feel like one of the most fortunate human beings to suffer as much as I have. I've learned to love suffering, and people are like, oh, you're crazy. No, you can't. I love it, because when I suffer, I know that I am being primed to then hold somebody's hand who is getting prepared to suffer, going through something. I've been through it, but I'm, as you're saying, the shepherd, hey, I will hold your hand and walk you through, because you're a hurting soul. I don't care if you're my worst enemy. I still love you. You have something in you. And, you know, reading books and writing, it was a way to, I guess, express that to people. Hopefully when they read it, okay, yeah, this guy's a screwball, but dang it, there is something in life that means more. And maybe I should get off my duff and just immerse myself in it, you know.
This is the whole reason why I got into book shepherding to begin with, is that what he's talking about, like I believe everybody has a story to share, and everyone has these like experiences that they should share with the world. And to have those stories sitting on a shelf just because they don't think they can be traditionally published, or can't get traditionally published, or don't want their stories to be manipulated by traditional publishing, is no reason not to get your book out there.
Amen.
And that's why, it's so important.
Often they don't even know where to start. They don't know how to get from standing up at their desk. What do they do next? It's very, I see it all the time with a lot of authors. I have friends that are publishers, and it's just, they tell me stories so often about situations like that. And it's a disconnect. And you would think that out here with all the information we have and all the things going on, that would be more helpful. But honestly, one of the problems is that there's so much information.
That's right.
So what do you take and put into your writing business that's going to help you grow and get your book published? It's that's kind of what one of my missions is to make understandable information that give people a direction and be able to take action in their own way to make it better. If not, we're just talking heads, and who gives a crap?
Amen.
Right.
You're so right. The whole art of rhetoric or anything else. Oh yeah, you can blame the past. What's that do? It just creates a stir. You know, it doesn't solve anything. You could be in the. What do you do about it? Use something and make that change. You know, it's just. And I think writing and encouraging other people to do that, really, it's we're a word-based existence. I mean, what my belief, God spoke and everything came through. The word is the most powerful thing we have as human beings to know, learn, and express anything.
I couldn't agree more with that statement. Couldn't agree more. That
And really, the hardest part is believing that and in yourself to then pick up a pencil or typewriter and make the first step. That's the key. It's faith. That's the hardest part.
True. It's funny. Yeah.
And it's, you can blame all these technical things. Oh, I'm running into this. Oh, ye of little faith. Take a deep breath and just jump right in.
That makes, I'm sorry, but I have to like also say it's like the whole issue of like that subject of faith. And when it comes to writing, you know, what causes writer's block is fear.
Yep. I have zero fear. I throw it out and I get stuff done. And I'm not afraid of being made fun of. I'm not afraid of looking at what I do and it looks horrible. Like, yeah, well, that's what it was. So now I do this. When you can get rid of fear and not care what people think about you, what you write, or you're going to offend somebody, who gives a darn? That person who didn't like your outfit, who complained about you being 10 minutes late, and you're worried about what they're going to think about, you know, just to put it in perspective, just let it rip. Someone's going to read it. They may make fun of it on the surface and be like, I'm making fun of it because really that hit me. This is really affecting me. Maybe I should change. Those who speak loudest have the most to lose. And sometimes when you say something and people start getting worked up about it, or they have a block, it is because they have fear of that very same thing you are willing to confront. You know, I like the writing process like that, forcing people to, oh gosh, I got to confront myself. Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we have fewer readers now.
Fear is a very powerful thing, and removing it as much as you can from your psyche. I've always considered myself pretty fearless, and it's one of the things I appreciate about myself the most. Jared, where can we buy your book?
Oh, that's where
I'll let the genius. I'll let the genius take over.
His publicist wife. But yeah, you can find it on Amazon, but also you can find it at our my publishing website, which is cawpublishing.com. CAW stands for Create a Way. That's kind of my mantra. That's my that's my umbrella statement for everything. Create a way. You got to create a way. So cawpublishing.com is where you'll find all our books, and you'll find also the book series that we're working on together, which is a children's book series too. So that's fun as well.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. She illustrated Pete the Plaid Platypus. I'm doing Artie the Artistic Aardvark, and she's, you know, it's all about like underdogs and weirdnesses. Pete, he's a plaid platypus. It's already a weird creature, and then he goes on a journey. Are there any others like me? And he finds out he's just unique and gifted, and he's supposed to let it rock. And he is the change. He doesn't have to be the weird guy. You know?
So it's A through Z, like all different characters, animals that for instance, so Derek wrote the series. It's 26 books, and man, we've got to finish illustrating them all, but at least we're putting out one at a time basically as they get done. And I cannot wait for Zabajuwonki, the Zany Zoo Zonky, to come out. I'm working on that one, illustrating that one right now. And it's so fun. It's just, my zany husband, wrote them all. And now we've got to put them all out in the world with illustrations.
I always believed in poems and catchy things. Something should have a flow like a song. My dad loved limericks and things like that. So
I can't believe
it was just a way to tip my hat to language and what really influenced me to be the goofy guy that I am. And really, this stuff has been in my brain for so long. My wife is responsible for taking the key and opening the strange door.
Just open the floodgates. Just let it cut.
That's wonderful.
It is.
That's wonderful. I mean, that you're both able to collaborate like that is a really true gift. And I think you both learned so much about yourselves and each other doing that. That's
Amen.
Really awesome.
It really builds a strong relationship. When Wendy and I met, I've told her everything about me. Like okay, what's the worst in the, like everything I could remember that was salient and that meant something in that moment, and have never ever held anything back. And we read each other's thoughts and feelings. It is that we're that couple that makes people puke and go, but there is truly this connection that is supernatural. And the more we collaborate, and when she edited my book, I was like, now you know me from deep inside out, like the hardest issues I've ever had to deal with, and that she got to read through it. I wanted her to edit it and say, look, these are things that I maybe forgot or couldn't tell you in some way that implicate me even more as to who I am.
Yeah.
And she loves me even more. It's just amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That is, I'll tell you what, that is such a gift. Such a gift. So do you have anything else to share as far as the book shepherding process that, like when do you, okay, let me reword this.
Yeah.
So a writer comes to you and they say, I am finishing up my book and I'm going to need help. Do you take them at that point or wait till they finish?
Well, normally I wait till they finish, but if they really want help with writing the book, I haven't come across anyone in that situation yet who has come to me at that point in time. But if they really want my help, I'm certainly willing to help them through that. And not necessarily, of course, help them write the book, but at least give them advice on how to get out of their stuckness, I guess. But if they need help with other things, like they don't know how to outline their book, that kind of thing, some basic things.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
a big one there.
yeah.
Just getting out
Like,
the construct of it.
yeah.
It is.
Then
It is.
yeah. That's certainly something that I'm willing to help people with. I just haven't come across a situation where someone's come to me at that point. Usually they come to me at the point when the book's already been written. There has been one situation where the lady thought that the book was done and ready, and she didn't want to change it. She gives it to me and I read it, and it didn't feel completely finished to me. So I couldn't take it from her at that point, but I did give her suggestions. I didn't want to just say, well, work on it some more, because that would be frustrating. I wanted to,
What do you work?
yeah, exactly. I wanted to tell her what I thought was missing from it and my suggestion on where she could take it. But once again, I'll never forget my painting teacher in art school who would say, if it was mine, I would do this, but it's not mine.
Exactly.
So you take what I say and do whatever you feel will make it yours, so that's the approach I like to take with things. Like, if it was mine, I would do this, but I'm very aware that it is not mine. And it never will be mine. It's yours. And you can take what my bit of advice and do whatever you want with it.
I read an article yesterday, I think on LinkedIn, that's been rolling around in my brain. And one of the things that was mentioned in the article is that if you're planning to traditionally publish, that you should not go ahead and do final edits on your book, because that's something that they'll do during the process, and you're just kind of like wasting money. So I was thinking about, I'm not saying, like, of course you should do your regular edits, for grammar and spelling and context,
otherwise
but they're talking about the final edits. So you've done your developmental, you've done, if you do a development, but the actual line edits, well, I think you do the line edits first, but the actual final edits, they say wait on. And I hadn't heard it explained exactly like that. So it was an interesting thought.
That makes it easier too, as far as probably quicker to publication. Like, if you do a final thing and they're looking through it, like, well, no, basically you get what you want, and any edit that they may or may not do, you're cool with it. If you can get it like that, then they get it to the flavor they like. That really, it's just like that just slicks it up, and helps things out. And I would definitely let somebody else do that work for me to save some time if it
Right.
came down to that.
Yeah, when it
why
comes
not?
to when it comes to traditional publishing, especially, it's not good to labor over it too
Yeah.
intensively, because then you will be very ticked off when,
Yeah, yeah.
not if, but when they do
When.
their changes on it to make it more like what they want it to be.
Right.
Because more than likely your book will be changed in some way. It might just be tweaking, but they might tweak the one part that is your favorite, you know. You never know.
Wendy, have you considered now that Derek self-published his book, putting it into the circus of traditional publishing?
I
I
thought
think,
about that, but I'm just waiting for her to think about that.
yeah,
I don't know.
I,
Dangerous book.
I'm not sure, because the problem with Derek's book is that it doesn't fit. It's a Christian base. I mean, it's got a lot of Christian views and a lot of expression of faith in it, but it also has a lot of swearing, because it's raw. It's about real experiences. It's very real.
I filtered nothing.
Yeah, because
Zero.
so for that reason, I don't know that a faith-based publisher would accept it the way it is, and they would probably want to soften the language, therefore not making it as real. So it's a tricky thing, because I feel
ventured, nothing gained.
yeah, it might yeah. So I just don't
think
know
that
what
would just
publisher. Yeah.
be taking time to find books that are the are similar to Derek's in that they're faith-based with the swearing. See where how they got published.
Yeah.
And maybe go from there and see what publishing house was willing to take them on with that, and if it was successful doing so. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. So I mean, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's
Yeah.
but I think that matter of fact, when I get off here, I'm buying your book. But I'm thinking that
Thank you.
Thank you.
no problem. That is might be a good next step, because it sounds like your stories would give so much to someone that
Yeah.
I haven't even read it, and I'm saying that I'll probably be even more adamant about that after I read it. But
Well,
Thank
not to toot my horn, it's just a gift, but a nursing instructor I had, she's a neonatal nurse practitioner, taught a advanced nursing course for, like, if I were to become a practitioner and all that. And a relative of mine who is a nurse both said, I wish I had this book when I started out, to put the reality behind nursing, and it's really, there's I want to separate the idea that religion and rules are necessary for healing and faith. Mine is purely a faith-based thing, and it's a challenge to people who identify with Christianity, because really nowadays it seems like Christianity and atheism are just gang words for people who identify with a construct and they don't know the meat of what it really is. Right. So I'm getting to the meat of what really is, and that requires, people, all the Pharisees, oh, look, Jesus is hanging out with these people. He's like, yeah, the sick are in need of a doctor. You're already fine. Why don't you go about and do your thing? I'm sure he hung out with the dirtiest, cussingest, raunchiest people ever, because he was there to save them. And it's the whole point is, like, if I'm to be genuine and these people are coming at me and doing their thing, I don't get offended. They're who they are. It's like, hey, I love you, dude. And let me show you what love is all about. And I don't know, if it makes people uncomfortable, it's their own conviction. And that's why.
And the swearing that I mentioned
uncomfortable is not a bad thing. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's not. When you're uncomfortable, you tend to open up your brain more to try to figure out what somebody's trying to say. Yeah. So
wow,
I don't think that's such a bad thing. Yeah, this has been a fantastic discussion. Thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you. I was just about to say the same thing. I'm like really enjoying our conversation here. I'm learning a lot.
Yes.
I think we all did. So we have a book shepherd, a soul shepherd together.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Well, we're gonna go ahead and round things up. I'd like to get thank you both,
Thank
Wendy and
you.
Derek, for
Thank you,
coming
Laura.
on. And like, if anybody would like to learn more about them, go to cawpublishing.com, and I'll put all that information and your socials in the show notes. To learn more about the podcast, of course, you can visit thewritingbiz.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, sign up for the website to be the first to learn about new episodes. And also, don't forget to download the free Writing Biz Starter Kit. The links to that will also be in the show notes. Until next time, take what you learned and put it to work in your writing biz. Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
you,
Have a
Laura.
great day.